Ever wondered where all the people went? Today, we're diving into the top 5 most mysterious abandoned towns in the Midwest. Grab your ghost hunting gear and let's get spooky. From haunted state capitals to eternally burning ghost towns, we're exploring the eerie side of the American heartland. We're talking deserted streets, crumbling buildings, and maybe even a ghostly encounter or two. So buckle up, hit subscribe, and get ready for a wild ride through the abandoned corners of the Midwest. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Our first stop takes us deep into the heart of Alabama, to the forgotten town of Cahaba. Now, Cahaba wasn't always a ghost town. In fact, it was once a bustling hub of activity, even serving as the state capital for a spell. But like a politician's promise, Cahaba's prosperity didn't last. Frequent flooding forced residents to flee, leaving behind grand old buildings to decay gracefully in the southern sun. Now let's talk about the ghost. Legend has it that Cahaba is haunted by the ghost of a Confederate soldier, forever pacing the grounds of the old Capitol building. Some say they've seen him, a shadowy figure still mourning the lost cause. So, if you ever find yourself in Alabama with a hankering for some historical chills and maybe a ghostly encounter, swing by Cahaba. But be warned, you might just be greeted by more than just the wind whistling through the trees. Next up, we're heading north to Pennsylvania, to a town with a bit of a hot streak. I'm talking about Centralia, a town that's been literally burning for decades. Back in 1962, a fire started in the town's underground coal mine, and it hasn't stopped burning since. Imagine the smoke and the constant fear that the ground beneath your feet could give way to a fiery abyss. Most folks would pack up and leave at the first whiff of sulfur, but not the hardy souls of Centralia. Eventually, though, the danger became too great. Streets buckled, homes were abandoned, and the government stepped in, relocating most of the residents. But a few stubborn holdouts remain, determined to live out their days in the shadow of the eternal flames. So if you're looking for a unique vacation destination, Centralia's your spot. Just don't forget your fire extinguisher. Chapter 3. Bodie, California. A perfectly preserved time capsule. From the fiery depths of Pennsylvania, we journey westward to the sun-baked hills of California, to a ghost town frozen in time, Bodie. Now, Bodie wasn't your average ghost town. This place was once a booming gold mining town, teeming with prospectors, gamblers, and colorful characters. Picture it: saloons swinging, gold dust flying, and tensions running higher than a gambler's hopes at a poker table. But like most gold rushes, Bodie's boom went bust. The gold dried up, the prospectors moved on, and the town that was once bursting at the seams became eerily silent. Bodie wasn't demolished or looted. Instead, it stands frozen in time, a perfectly preserved snapshot of its Wild West heyday. Walking through Bodie's deserted streets is like stepping back into the 1880s. It's both eerie and fascinating. Chapter 4. Glenrio, Texas, New Mexico, stranded on the Mother Road. For our next stop, we're hitting the open road, cruising down the legendary Route 66 to a town that straddles the line between two states: Glenrio, Texas, New Mexico. Glenrio was a classic Route 66 pit stop, a beacon of neon lights and greasy spoons for weary travelers. But as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. For Glenrio, that end came in the form of a new highway, bypassing the town and leaving it stranded on the side of progress. Today, Glenrio is a ghost town, a poignant reminder of the transient nature of life on the road. The gas stations are empty, the motels are deserted, and the only sound is the wind whistling through the crumbling buildings. Even in its abandoned state, Glenrio still holds a certain charm. Chapter 5. Thurmond, West Virginia, from coal town to ghost town. Our final destination takes us to the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia, to a town that went from boom to bust faster than you can say coal. Thurmond was once a bustling hub of the coal industry, but as the demand for coal declined, so did Thurmond's fortunes. The mines closed, the trains stopped running, and the once bustling town slowly emptied out. Today, Thurmond is a virtual ghost town, with a population smaller than your average dinner party. But even in its abandoned state, Thurmond still retains a certain rugged beauty. The mountains loom large, the New River flows past, and the silence is broken only by the sound of the wind through the trees. Well, there you have it, folks. Our whirlwind tour of the Midwest's most mysterious abandoned towns. From haunted state capitals to eternally burning coal towns, we've seen it all. We've explored deserted streets, peered into abandoned buildings, and maybe, just maybe, felt a ghostly presence or two. So, which of these towns would you dare to visit? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, if you hear a ghostly whisper, it's probably just the wind. Or is it?